or they start showing up whenever, you know, I start talking, which is normally the case. So, um, a couple of things before we get started. Um, Today is basically our last day of learning anything new for this unit. Um, Today I'm going to walk you guys through kind of what to expect on your chapter tests. Your test for unit 2 is going to be on Tuesday. And then remember, this Friday and next Friday, if you've done everything, I have, out of 29 kids, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids who are on my pink list. Remember, my pink list means that you've done absolutely everything. So, you know, you want to get on that list. Some of you guys are super close from finishing up absolutely everything, so that's good. You just have to finish up the last couple of assignments so you guys get a couple of days off. Before we get started on what we're going to do today, I want to show you guys what you guys should be doing in the next couple of days. So for instance, tomorrow, please remember, you guys should be doing your PBIS lesson for attendance. All right, if I don't see this PBIS lesson, I am more than likely going to forget to write you guys down as here, even if you do an assignment. All right, this is what I'm looking for when it comes to attendance. It's been like this the entire time, yet I'm still getting kids going, what do you mean? I was here. Well, how was I supposed to know if you're not doing your PBIS lesson? All right, when it comes to assignments, you know, it could have been that you did it the day before. I'm not looking at, you know, when you guys submitted it. So what are you doing for this? This is talking about, you know, staying focused. You're going to watch this video. You're going to tell me 4 things, you know, 4 steps to staying focused. Then, you know, watch and listen to pick 2, watch this, and then pick 2 things that you can use right now. So tip number 1, tip number 2, and then, you know, Yoda, too many things you do, focus you must. So, and I didn't do this, it was somebody else. So I did not put that. But again, like, this isn't hard. Honestly, like, these videos aren't even that long, you know? And then half of you guys, like, if you do it for another class, which you might, just copy and paste the stuff, you know? So don't spend over half an hour on this, just, you know. And then when it comes to the videos, honestly, I wouldn't even do this in real time. Like, I would go to settings and then I would do the playback time, and I would do it like a time and a half or 2. Now this 4 minutes turns into 2 minutes. So you're spending maybe 10 minutes on this thing, if that, depending on how, you know, long it takes you guys to write down the questions. So it's not that hard. So that's the PBIS lesson. Tomorrow, you also have another assignment. It's called Analyzing and Comparing Functions. When it comes to this one, you're going to put your name, and then you're going to tell me, some people have been getting confused when it comes to this one. You're telling me all of the graphs that are functions. So it's not just one, it could be more than one. So for instance, looking at A, does that pass the vertical line test? Yes. What about B? No. What about C? Yes. So I would mark A and C for this one. And then how can you tell? Will it pass the vertical line test? Or I drew lines going down, it only touches once, whatever the case may be. Then you're doing the same thing for task 2, task 3. I didn't like task 4, so I deleted it. So you have a task 5. So only 4 different questions, but you have to get all of these right in order to get the point. So be careful, don't, especially this one, pay attention to every single first number and make sure they do not repeat. So slow down, it's only 4 questions, you know, You don't have, and then the explanation part, it doesn't have to be crazy, just a very simple explanation. Something repeats, you know, there's a button, you know, a dot on top of each other, whatever the case may be. So this is the assignment that goes along with tomorrow's work. I mean, you can do it today if you want to, but that is the homework for tomorrow. The last thing, for those of you guys who are 100% done, if you guys do this, that is due on Thursday, then you do not need to come back for Thursday. You just have to do the exit ticket. Once you're done with this, then you guys are done with the day. So also, I know I mentioned that I was going to do this yesterday, but I'm going to do this today. I'm going to give you guys progress reports. Now, on the progress reports, and I should have mentioned this to first period, but I'll mention it in the video so that, you know, people watching the video can know. For your progress report, I'm going to turn all of these assignments red for the progress report and then quickly turn it back to gray after I give you guys the progress report. The reason why I want to do that is so that you guys can see that you're still missing those, because, you know, I want you guys to get a head start on things so that you guys can possibly get, you know, get a Friday off. But at the same time, I want you guys to see how your grade is being affected by some of these assignments. Some of you guys still haven't turned in your notebook, and we should have already been done with that, you know? So I still have a couple of you guys who haven't done that. But just keep working at some of these things. But I'm going to give you guys progress reports. And again, all of the assignments, even the ones that we haven't done that are due tomorrow and Thursday, I'm going to turn it red just for the progress report. And then I'm going to send it back. Then I'll change it back to gray, so it's not affecting your grade after that, because it's technically not due yet. But I want you guys to have a progress report that shows, hey, don't forget to do these assignments, because they still, you know, that's it. The only other thing that you guys haven't done yet is your 2 reviews. So next week, you guys have 2 reviews. One is going to be for your unit test, the one that I'm going to talk about today. And then another one for your final. I've asked the other classes, and they've both said no, they don't want them. If you do want the reviews now, just send me a private message at any point and be like, hey, I'm already, like, especially for those of you guys who are done with everything, if you just want your reviews now, just let me know and I will give you those reviews now versus you having to wait till next week. So, or if anything, you'll get them on Friday when I open it up for everybody else. So, you know, it's not too much of a big deal. So that's Wednesday and Thursday. One note about this. For your unit test that's on Tuesday, so a week from today, you guys are going to have, I don't remember if it's 6 or 8, I know it was an even number, questions that are going to be just like this. And you're just telling me, is it a function? You know, is it a function? Is it not a function? All right. All the questions are going to be here on the side, and then it's just going to be function, not a function on the corners, I think. No, they're all going to be on the top, and then the numbers are going to be here, and then you just have to tell me, is it a function? Yeah, super easy for the first 6 questions. All right. So, and then the next set of questions are going to be what we're going to cover today. All right. So, open up this activity right here. It's called A Big Race. It looks like this. We're going to go through all of this, and then and this is part 3, the last part of your test. It'll look almost identical to this. You'll have a graph and then these exact questions. The wording is the same. Obviously, the only thing that's going to change is the names of the people that are in the race. All right, but it'll look almost identical to this, and the same way that we're solving this is the same way you guys would solve it on your test. So I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for you guys to be able to understand the test and the wording and stuff, because a lot of times I know that the hardest part is understanding the question. So I wanted to make sure that you guys understood it by having the same type of questions. So again, open up a big race, and that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing that and the Christmas graph stories. And then your homework will be the distance times with stories, which is kind of the race, like a combination of the race and the other thing. So give me a thumbs up once you have a big race open. Clap if you need any more time. For those of you guys who can't write, it's not going to be that big of a deal, because we're not writing too much on here. So does anyone know the story of the tortoise and the hare? Can you guys give me a thumbs up if you guys know it, or a clap if you don't? You guys remember the folk story of a tortoise and a hare? So for those of you guys who might know it, you might not actually know the real story behind it, or like, obviously it's not a real story because it's about animals, but the original story behind it was that there was a town filled, you know, like a little neighborhood in a forest with animals. And the animals were like, hey, you know, we need to have someone who is pretty fast, just in case, you know, there's an emergency or something, they can run down, you know, to all of our homes and let us know what's going on so that, you know, we can be protected. So then they started, you know, they, you know, advertised the race, and these two, the tortoise and the hare, were the ones that were like, oh, I'm winning a race. Obviously, everyone was like, this is dumb because the tortoise is not going to be able to win this race because obviously the hare is faster. But they still let, you know, both of them race. But the hare was cocky. You know, he decided, okay, see how this is flat right here? That means that he waited and gave the tortoise a little head start, and then started running. He started running until he finally caught up with them. They're both at the exact same spot. They're right next to each other. And then he starts passing the tortoise, and he runs. And then he realizes, oh, I'm really far ahead, so I'm going to take a nap. And he falls asleep. Notice how, you know, that's flat again because he's sleeping. The tortoise, he's easy going. He's constant speed the entire way. All right. At this point, the tortoise passes the hare. And when the hare finally wakes up, he starts running, but it's a little too late. The tortoise wins. How do we know he won? Because he got there first. We can notice that by, you know, he got there in 15 minutes while the hare got there in 16 minutes. Close race, but, you know, he still ends up losing. Here's the part that not a lot of people know. They always go, well, oh, well, slow and steady wins the race. Yeah, cool, but they didn't pay attention to the first part of the story, or the reason why they had this story in the first place was because they wanted someone to be able to run and be able to tell the, you know, all the animal families like, hey, there's an emergency, run or be safe. So what ends up happening one day is that a fire goes off, and the tortoise is responsible for telling all the families to run away from the fire, but it's a tortoise. So everyone ends up dying because the forest got caught on fire and they all died because the tortoise couldn't get to everyone in time. So even though, yes, slow and steady does win the race, be realistic with your choices. All right, so that's the second part of the moral of the story. So yes, slow and steady does win the race. No, you should not be, you know, egotistic and think that you're better than everyone else when everyone, you know, but, you know, you should also make realistic choices. Between a tortoise and a hare, you should have never chosen a tortoise to be the carrier of messages. So that is the real story. It's always funny whenever you hear the real story behind things, like the story behind Little Mermaid. That one's super dark. Or Cinderella, that one's dark too. The Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, that one's dark. They all have a dark story behind it. Disney did not tell it correctly. So, yeah. Why? The Little Mermaid one, starts off the same, where, you know, she falls in love with this, you know, prince, and then she goes to Ursula, tells her, hey, I want, you know, to fall in love, blah blah blah. She gets her, you know, voice taken away. She goes to the prince. However, in that time, you know how in the Disney movie, the prince gets tricked into falling in love with Ursula. That's not what actually happened in the story. He ends up falling in love with another girl. I don't remember if she's a princess or not, but he ends up falling in love with another girl. He still likes Ariel, but as a friend. Like, he doesn't see her as romantic. So she ends up getting crazy depressed, goes to Ursula and says, what can I do? Like, I need to be able to be back with my family, because this guy doesn't love me, and my life is over because some guy doesn't love me. And Ursula is like, well, if you kill him, I will give you back your voice, and, you know, you'll have your tail back and everything will be back to normal. So she goes up to the prince while he's sleeping, and is about to kill him, but, you know, she loves the guy. She has regrets. She runs away. She just doesn't know what to do anymore. So she jumps over a cliff and into the ocean. But if you remember, she doesn't, since she doesn't have her tail, she doesn't know how to swim anymore and dies. But because she didn't kill her love, the angels come down and take her to heaven, versus, you know, going to hell because she committed suicide. I don't think Disney would have been able to tell that story correctly. Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting whenever you're reading the real stories, that, you know, the originals of all of them, because we've changed it so much to make it fit our needs. But yeah, that like, all of those stories are super dark. Like, you're like, wait, what are you talking about? Disney has lied to me this whole time? Yes, Disney lied. But, you know, yay, story time with Doc Brown.
Beauty and the Beast one.
I don't know the Beauty and the Beast one. But yeah, no, some of those stories, I mean, it's yeah. Okay, so let's get back on track, because remember, this is on our test. Let's go, you know, end of Doc Brown story time. But remember back what we were talking about yesterday. When we are looking at graphs and we're talking about stories, pay attention to the diagonals, pay attention to anything that's flat. Are you okay? Something scared me. Something fell. See, it's the ghosts. They're mad because I was doing stories. They're like, shut up, teach. All right. So yeah, pay attention to the diagonals. Pay attention to anything that's flat. We're not going to be dealing with curves, not really. In one of these examples, we do kind of have a curve, but we're not going to be talking about that. We're paying attention more to when things are happening, and then what could they mean when it comes to these. So again, this is going to be on your test. You are going to have a picture similar to this. The questions will look almost identical. The only thing that's going to change is obviously you're going to have different names. And instead of circling them, you're going to have a button that you press for which one that you guys are going to pick. So, and yes, you are going to have to type like an explanation, but it's going to be very simple. And we'll teach you guys how to do all of that stuff. So, again, the green line right here is going to be the tortoise. The purple line right here is going to be the hare. Now notice at the very beginning, did the hare start running at the very beginning? No, he waited and gave the tortoise a head start. So that's the reason why we're flat. Then he runs, meets the tortoise, where they're both there at the exact same time, right next to each other, then keeps running, then stops to take a nap, and then goes and runs again. The tortoise, on the other hand, is just running the entire time, or walking, because the tortoise can't run. So who won the race, the tortoise or the hare? Well, obviously the tortoise won because we know the story. All right. How do you know? There are a couple of ways that you can explain this. You can write something as simple as he got to the finish line in less time. You can write something that simple. Or you can say he got to the finish line in 15 minutes and the hare got there in 16 minutes. I would rather see this, but honestly, as long as you just tell me that he got there first in less time, not that he got there first, because obviously, like, that doesn't answer it. It just, the part that answers it is the less time. So that's the part that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a less time in some way. This tells me 15 minutes versus 16 minutes, that's less time. You saying he got there in less time, again, that is what I'm looking for. Not, well, he just got there first. Cool. How do you know that? So again, tell me in less time, or be specific and tell me at what times they got there. All right. So thumbs up if we understand this. It is very, very, very important for you guys to tell me if you understand this or not. Because again, this is on your test. If you don't understand it here, you will not understand it for your actual test. And I want you guys to be able to pass this. Because remember, this is your second test you've taken, and you only have 3. So you don't really have that much time to be able to retake tests. Plus, a lot of you guys haven't been retaking any of your tests. So, all right. For the third question, it says, over what interval? Interval means between what 2 sets of points, or what 2 sets of time, between 2 things, all right? Is the hare greater than the tortoise? Meaning the hare is above the line of the tortoise. So we're looking for when the purple line, because that's the hare, is above the green line. All right. So, and it tells you right here between 5 and 10, or is it from 10 and 16? All right. So is it at part 1 or part 2? Can you guys put that in chat? Which one do you, or unmute yourself? Tell me, when is the hare above the tortoise? When is the purple line above the green line? In part 1 at 5 to 10, or is it part 2 from 10 to 16? When is the hare above the tortoise? Part 1, yeah.
Part 1.
Yeah. How do we know? Because we see this purple line right here is above the green line. That lets me know that he is farther in that race. So from 5 all the way up to 10, the hare is past the tortoise. It's not at the very beginning. The tortoise was past the hare because, you know, he gave him a head start. And then the hare was napping, so the tortoise won again. All right, so that's what you guys would be looking for on this one. You're paying attention to who is on the left side, because that is the one that needs to be greater. So whatever letter or name they tell you over here, that's the one that you're going to be paying attention to, which one is above the line. So any questions on that one, or thumbs up if we're good? Okay. The next question says, at what time does the hare and the tortoise equal each other? Meaning that they're crossing at that point. All right. So between what two times? So I'm going to look here. They're crossing here. One is at 5. And then they cross here again. And then that one's at 10. So again, what am I looking for? Where both the green and the purple make kind of an X. Then I go down to my time, which is 5. Again, here's an X. Go down, that's at 10. So that's how I'm able to tell these two together. So give me a thumbs up if we're good with that one. Okay. The last part, or this question, what does it mean when they're both at that same spot? When we're dealing with a race, what does it mean when they're both at the same spot? And this one honestly is more of a copy and paste. Both are next to each other and no one is winning. So that means that the hare and the tortoise are right next to each other at that race, and neither one of them is winning because they're both equal to each other. All right. All you literally have to do is just highlight this, copy it, and you're gonna paste them on everything. That's the answer for this guy, no matter what. Even on your tests, if you guys memorize this, that's all you really need to do, because it's the answer to all of it. So what does it mean whenever we're running a race and they cross each other or they're equal to each other? It means that they're both next to each other and no one's winning. So again, literally copy and paste that the entire time. And then the last part, for some reason, ends up being like the hardest one for some people. I don't know why, but we're looking at the hare. So that's the purple. And I want to know, where is he in 8 minutes? So here's 5, 6, 7, 8. So I go to 8 minutes. I'm going to climb all the way up until I hit that purple. And then I'm going to go all the way over to the distance. Now, it doesn't tell me right away what we're at, but we're going each by 2. So this is 12, 14, 16. It's at 1,800 meters. So 1800. And I'm just going to extend this because, you know, I want. So again, how did I do that? I go 1, 2, 3. So that's the 8. Go all the way up until I hit that purple. And then go all the way over. Notice how I'm going by 2. So 12, 14, 16, that's 18. So thumbs up if we're good and I understand this. Clap if there's something that you still need help with. All right. So thumbs up if we're good with this slide. Clap if you need more time before I move on to slide 2. Okay. We're moving on. We're going to do the exact same thing. I accidentally did not change this. So this should not be an H. It should be a J. And this should say miles. So, looking at this again, Antonio, first off, pay attention to your units. On going up and down, we have these in miles. Going left and right on the bottom, we're in minutes. All right. So we're dealing with miles and we're dealing with minutes. So, hey, Manuel, we are doing this very first assignment. It's called A Big Race, and we just finished the first slide. Once we're done with all of it, I can show you the first slide so that you can take a screenshot and then do that. But we're on slide 2 of A Big Race. So, again, look to see what kind of units you have on the side. So we have distance in miles, and then we have time in minutes. All right. And then we can do the rest of it. And again, I accidentally left this as an H instead of a J, and then this said meters instead of miles. And yes, it does matter. Please change it. It matters whenever you guys take your test too. So, who won the race? Let me know. Who won the race? Is it A or J? Antonio or Juan? Who won the race? A or J? Who won the race? Who won the race? Who won the race? Yeah, Antonio. So Antonio won the race. How do you know? Again, he got there in 25 minutes, while Juan got there in 28. Or just say, you know, he got there in less time. Again, you need to say something about time. He got there in less time. He got there in 25 minutes versus the other guy got there in 28. You know, something to that nature. You need to say time. You cannot just say, well, he got there first. Well, how do you know? Again, if I don't see something like that on your test, I will mark it as wrong. All right. So, thumbs up if you're good with that. Clap if you don't understand something. All right. So, over what interval is Juan greater than Antonio? So we're looking at the red. When is the red above the blue line? So is it in part 1 or is it in part 2? So from 0 to 19, or is it from 19 to 28? So put it in chat, part 1 or part 2. When is Juan winning? Or when is he greater than Antonio? Part 1 or part 2? Part 1. Good job. So how do we know? Because this red is where Juan is, and Juan started running super fast the first few miles. And then by 2.5 miles, he's like, that's it. I can't do this anymore. Actually, by 10 minutes, he was like, that's it. I'm done. And he dramatically slowed down. This is why you're not supposed to put like all of your energy at the very beginning. You know, Antonio, he took it easy. He's like gradually getting, faster and faster and faster. And then by the end, he was able to like beat Juan because Juan already lost all his steam. All right. At what time do they both cross each other? So at what time do they both cross each other? Can anyone tell me in chat or unmute yourselves? What time do they both cross each other?
19.
At 19. How do we know? Again, there's where they both cross. You go all the way down and you notice it's between 18 and 20, so it has to be 19. Yeah, someone put, imagine running 2 miles in 10 minutes. Yeah, dude, I can't I can't even do 1 mile in 10 minutes. I know so many people like, can do like a mile in like 6 minutes and something. I'm like, dude, I can barely get out of bed in 6 minutes. I'm too old and out of shape. I've never been able to run the mile very well. I've always had bad knees. And then obviously, again, when it comes to what does it mean, copy and paste, you should have already done that. Both are next to each other, no one is winning. I'm working on my miles though. I'm like walking every day. I do at least 2 miles every day. Well, 2.17 miles. That's like walking half of my community. I have a route and I walk and then I come back. And I listen to my stories and then I walk another mile here in my house while I read my book. So, and then the last question, we look at Juan. Where is Juan in 10 minutes? Well, someone already pretty much said that. At 10 minutes, I go all the way up to the red, go over, and he is at 2 miles. So thumbs up if you guys are good. Clap if you need more time. I see those claps. For those of you guys clapping, please make sure to give me a thumbs up once you're ready. Cool, cool. All right, and the last one. Just in case you don't know, Alexia and Tobias are my kids' names. Alexia is my daughter, she's in 6th grade, and then my son is Tobias, he's in 1st. No, they cannot even do, I think they're worse than I am when it comes to how fast they are at finishing a mile or whatever. These are kilometers as well. There's no way my kids would even move more than a mile, especially my son. Yeah, no problem. But yeah. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this. I bought myself a Christmas present and I'm already using it. It's like a table like goes on top of my desk and it like rises and falls so that I can like stand and I can move versus just sitting all day long because my back hurts because I'm old and I'm sick. So I got tired of sitting all day long so that I can move. I'm so excited. But if I don't move, then my back starts hurting again. So if you see me doing this, yeah. Let me know when you're ready though. For the person that told me to go back. Okay, cool. All right, so this one is a trick question. Honestly, it was really hard to find graphs that were like this online. So I had a very limited selection. So this was one of the few that I found. This is a trick question. Who ended up winning the race? Can anyone tell me? Again, notice that I said it's a trick question. Who won the race? Ooh, you guys caught that fast. Both, yeah. So it's a tie because they both got there at the same time. So we're gonna take this and we're going to extend it to circle them both. All right. And then how do we know? They both reached the finish line at the same time. All right, again, I'm looking for the word time in some form or another. Notice how, you know, my son, he went like kind of like the tortoise, slow and steady. My daughter went super fast, then got tired and stopped for a while. Man, stopped for like hours. Look at that. Lazy bum. And then started, you know, walking again. Again, this one out of all of them is the most unrealistic one, because I don't think anyone would have like ran this much and then stopped for this many hours, then ran again, or had someone like run, like who runs for 16 hours? Like that's nuts. So, or walks for 18 hours, like that's a long distance. Or kind of, I mean, I know that some people do this, but yeah, no, those people are crazy. All right. Looking at the graph, when is Tobias greater than Alexia? So when is the red above the blue line? Is it in the first part or is it in the second part? During which interval is Tobias winning? Is it the first part or is it the second part? Yeah, it's the second part. How do we know? Because this entire time she was winning, and it's not until like what, 11 and a half minutes that he starts winning, and then they both get there at the same time. At what time are they both equal to each other? I'll give you this one because it's kind of like hard. It's in the middle. And again, it's at 11 and a half minutes or hours. Whoops. 11.5 hours. So again, how do you know? Here is where they cross. They go all the way down, and that's at 11 and a half. Again, what does it mean in the context of a race? When they both are equal to each other, that again is just a copy and paste. Both are next to each other and no one is winning. And then the last one, where is Tobias at 6 hours? So go to 6, go up and over. Can anyone tell me where he's at? And these are going by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where is he in 6 hours?
Six kilometers.
So at 6, no, he's at 5.
5.
Yeah, so at 6, you go all the way up and then go over. I always feel like these are the hardest ones because especially for me, or at least to do it digitally, like you kind of need a ruler and be like, okay, flat, let's go over. Okay, it's that one because my hand is like shaky. So I go over and then my eyes get all cross-eyed and I'm like, where did I go? So I need to like slowly get over there or else I might mess up. And this technically should say kilometers. All right, give me a thumbs up once you guys are ready with this one. If you guys are and you're done with everything, you can turn it in. Again, none, like all of you guys, I expect you guys to turn them in today, even though it says that's not due till Friday, because we did it in class. Again, it's due by Friday for the kids who are not here. All right, all of you guys are here. I gave you guys all the answers. We took the time, you know, to be able to do this. If you didn't do this, then, you know, I'm giving you time right now to take screenshots. So if you guys need that, do that now. So take a screenshot and then turn it in whenever you guys can. But it should be turned in today. I do expect that. So anyone else need this screen anymore? Give me a clap if you guys need it more. Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys the first one. So for those of you guys who showed up late or needed the first one, here's that first one. Give me a thumbs up once you guys are ready. For those of you guys who are ready and who have already turned it in, you guys can open up the one that says Christmas something or other, Christmas stories, something like that. As I'm falling. I'm falling. Anyone need to see slide 2? Give me a thumbs up if you need slide 2. Is everyone ready with slide 1? For those of you guys who asked for slide 1. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go wee to erase all of this stuff. All right, so we should see all of you guys. Good job. I mean, I should have a lot more of you guys. Should have like 26 of you guys. So we're gonna do the Christmas graph stories. So again, this one that we just did, you are going to have that on your test. It'll be the last section. So there's 3 sections. The first section is going to be, is it a function, yes or no? The third section is going to be like this, a big race. And then the one in the middle is going to look like this.
Dog, you're missing
Yeah.
one. B, D in there.
Huh?
Shouldn't the other one? A, B, C, and D.
Here, for this one?
Because all the other ones have it.
Notice how this says 1 will not be used?
Why not though?
Because
It's funny.
this one also says 1 will not be used.
On mine,
and your, yeah? On
Yeah.
slide 3.
It has
Slide
it.
1 and slide 3 does not have a D. And your tests will also be like that, where one of them will be missing. So that's the reason why you have 2 examples that are like that. So
Okay.
on your test, you're going to have 2 questions. You're going to have 1 question like this. You'll have the graph, and then you'll have these on like, and then you'll just have to say like which one it is. Is it A, B, C, or D, or A, B, C, or none?
Okay.
Now, keep this in mind. Remember how we were talking about diagonals and all that stuff? Diagonal means that we're moving, all right? If it's flat, completely flat, like for instance, this B right here on slide 1 is not flat. It's at an angle still. If you look at 2, this is flat. That is flat. But for B, that is not flat. All right, so the steepness of something is talking about time. So this steepness for B lets me know that someone is walking very slowly. All right. However, if we're looking at C compared to A, we're always comparing it to the first one. So B lets me know that someone changed their speed from walking or running a certain distance to going extremely slow to all of a sudden C, it's very steep. That lets me know that they're running back. They're moving at a much faster pace. So depending on the steepness, for instance, when it comes to slide 2, if we're comparing A and C, that lets me know that that person is running a lot faster in that one. Same thing with C on slide 3. Like, we're comparing them a lot. The steepness is going to let you guys know, are they moving faster or slower? Have they stopped? We're not dealing with acceleration on these. We're just going to deal with, you know, someone moving. If they go from going forward somewhere to going back towards the timeline, the time axis, then that lets me know that I'm looking for the word back. So they're going back somewhere. So certain things you guys can be paying attention to when it comes to the vocabulary. So if you have a line that's going back towards the time, then you're looking for the words that says backwards, back, you know, like anything that lets us know that they're moving back towards where they started. If you have a flat surface, for instance, on slide 2, B and D, you're looking for words that tell you that they have stopped. So stopped, rested, napped, anything like that lets you know that we can expect something. All right. So keep all of that in mind as you're going through these. There are different ways to approach all of these to see how you guys want to do it. I normally, especially if there's something that's not used, I'll look to find something obvious. For instance, looking at A, B, and C, I don't have any flat surfaces. So nothing is going to be stopped. So I would probably look at all of my choices and find one that says stop. And I know that that one is going to be the one that I'm going to skip. So is there one of these options? So 1, 2, 3, or 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Is any of those an option that says that he stops somewhere? Because then that's the one that we're probably going to skip, or that we know that we're going to skip. So can you guys tell me in chat? 1, 2, 3, or 4. Any of those say that we're going to stop somewhere, or rest, or take a nap, or anything like that? Yeah, we have 2. So number 2 says he stopped to get some milk and cookies. Nowhere did I stop on this time graph. So I'm going to make this red just so that I know I am not using this. Do you need to do that? No, you don't. This is just to help you guys visualize it. We are not using this, guys. So all we're dealing with is 1, 3, and 4. 2, we're going to skip. We're not going to use this. We're only going to use 1, 3, and 4. Okay, so then look at the rest of your options. We can, another easy one to do, since we have C where it's going back somewhere, look and see which options says that he went back somewhere. 1, 3, or 4. Which one says he went back somewhere? 1, 3, or 4? 1, 3, or 4? I have 2 different answers. So let's look at the 2 answers. So here for question 1, or for statement 1, it says he heard his parents and ran back to his room. Ran back lets me know that they're moving a lot faster compared to, like, this one says Brian walked quietly towards. That lets me know the direction we're coming from. So we would have to do this one. So this one should be C. So I would say that this is C. All right. Now all we have to deal with is A and B. Notice B and A, the only thing different between the two is that B should be slower than A. So which one of these two says that they are slower? 3 or 4? Well, obviously that's very easy. 4 says that he is walking very slowly. are tiptoeing very slowly. So that's going to be B, which means this one obviously needs to be A. Another reason why this one says this one should be A is because it says that he's walking towards something. So that gives us the direction of us starting the story. So you guys can just see it that way too. So this would be the order for this one. So give me a thumbs up once you guys are ready. Clap if you need more time. Okay, let's do slide 2. This one, we do have two stopping points. So, and we have 2 where the person's walking. It looks like this one is steeper, so I would assume that this one is moving faster than A, but we do have 2 that have stopped. All right, so we're probably looking for one option that says that he's moving faster. That's probably going to be the one that I want to get rid of first, because that'll make it so that I know what A is, and then I just have to figure out the 2 stopping points. So is there an option that tells me faster? Again, how am I figuring this out? I'm just doing process of elimination. I'm looking at each one of my options. I see that B and D are both stopped. So I can't do both of these. So, because I have 2 options. So then I look at A and C. Comparing the steepness to A and C, C is steeper, meaning that he's moving faster. How do we know that he's moving faster? Because he's more up and down versus more flat. So I'm looking for one of these options, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Which one of them talks about him moving a little, faster or moving quickly? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Right, 3. How do you know that? Because it says the reindeer realized he would be late and walked a little faster to Santa. So then we know that this one is going to be C. All right, cool. So then which one of these still talks about them, the reindeer walking somewhere or running somewhere? Is it 1, 2, or 4? Which one is still walking? That should be A. 2. The reindeer walked on the roof waiting on Santa. So obviously this is going to be A. Now here comes the hard part. We're trying to figure out between these 2 about stopping. So this one says B and D. We have options. The reindeer stopped for a little bit, and then the reindeer grew tired and took a nap before reaching Santa. So I would say this one would be B, only because it said that he just took a nap for a little bit. All right. So that one lets me know that he's just stopping for a little short break before he starts running again. This one implies that he's taking a much longer break because he's taking a nap, and that is going to take a lot longer. So I would say that this is D, because that's where our story ends. So then it should look like that. Now for your test, you are not going to have anything that you would have to guess at and it be very similar to this. It'll be more black and white, kind of like this, where you're going to be able to tell the difference. So give me a thumbs up once you guys are ready with slide 2. Again, you guys should be able to turn this in by the end of the period. Since we are doing this all together. All right. Again, we are not going to be using one of the slides, one of the steps. So let's look at our graph. and see what we can get rid of. So looking at A, I see a diagonal. Okay, so I'm going to be walking or running somewhere, moving. B, I see a diagonal going back towards the timeline, which lets me know that I'm walking back towards something. So I'm probably going to look at the word, for a word that, means back. And then I have another line going up. It does look like it's steeper than A, so it's probably going to be quicker than the movement for A. So it's probably going to be quicker. So again, we're all moving, so I shouldn't have stopped somewhere. So look at your options and see which one of those says stop or anything like that. Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? Which one of them says something about stopping? Two. So it says the cat stopped to lick herself. So I'm going to turn that red. Again, you do not need to do that unless you want to, but that lets me know that I'm not going to be using this box. And then I can just look at both, like the last three. Again, since A and C are walking towards some place, I would probably do B to get rid of an option, since this is the only one that we're moving back towards something. So again, A and C, I would probably wait, and I would do B and look for keywords that tells me that I'm going back somewhere. So would that be 1, 3, or 4? 1, 3, or 4? Which one talks about going back somewhere? Excuse me. Yeah, it'll be B. The cat saw Doc and walked backwards slowly. So that lets me know that I'm walking backwards, which is the same thing as me moving, like going back to like my room or something. So that's great. All right. Now I need to figure out A and C. That lets me know which one of them. So I'm going to look at these last two options and try and figure out if one would be A or one would be C. So looking at this one, it says the cat saw Doc walk away and went for the attack. So hearing that, what would you guys recommend? Would you guys recommend A or would you guys recommend C? Compared to a cat walk towards the wrapping paper. Which one do you think, the one that says that went for the attack, would you say that would be A or would that be C? Yeah, I would say that would be C, because the cat went for an attack, which was like her end goal, I guess, because she's evil and mean. I have no idea where she's at. Probably plotting my death. And then obviously this would be A. The cat walked towards the wrapping paper. Again, the word towards is another keyword to let you know that this is probably A, because it's letting you know the direction it's going and where we're going. Okay. Again, this is recorded, so if you need anything, you can always finish it up. But we're done. Oh wait, we have one more slide. Give me a clap if you guys still need more time with slide 3. Well, you can. All right. Last one. We are going to use all of our steps. So looking at this, we're going to be moving towards some place. We're going to go back someplace, move back up, and then we're going to rest. So I'm probably going to look for D first. I'm gonna look for D first because that's the easiest word to look for, is some sort of stopping. So look at 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which one of those is saying something about stopping? 1, 2, 3, or 4? One, two, three, or 4. Which one? Which one says stopping? 1, 2, 3, or 4? All of your internets have gone now. Okay, fine. That one's D. Here, I'll just give you guys this one. That one's D. He realized he forgot. That one's B. Parker walked back to the Christmas tree. That one's C, because it says that he's walking back to the Christmas tree, which obviously means that this one needs to be A.
Take your AirPods off.
My AirPod decided to die and not give me a warning. I love how my AirPod like gives me, wait. My AirPod decides to give me a warning of, hey, it's dying, right before it dies. And then disconnects. I'm like, okay. But yeah, that's the end of this assignment. Make sure you guys turn that in. The one for the assignment for today for your homework, it looks like you have 6 questions, but actually you have only 4 because slides 1 and 2 are the same, only one's in Spanish. And then same thing with 3 and 4, one's in Spanish. So do you have to do the Spanish one? No. I have a student that speaks only Spanish. So I have that for her. Okay. But 5 and 6, they're both in English and in Spanish. There was enough space for me to do that. Okay. And then your exit ticket's already open. So once
Wait,
you guys,
Bob,
huh?
for the Christmas one, can I see the first slide again?
Yeah.
I'm gonna screenshot it.
No problem.
All right, thanks, Doc.
No problem. But once you guys are done, you guys may leave. Have a very good couple of days. I will see you on Thursday. Bye.
Okay, bye, Doc. Have a good
Bye.
Wednesday.
Go back to which slide? This last one? Or like slide, which slide? That one? That's the last slide.
Miss, are you gonna post this video?
Yeah. I think I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel because a lot of people who have been trying to open it up, it's making them download it and it's not working like that. So I think I'm going to post this on my YouTube channel and then okay, that's fine. Just still submit, like hit the mark it as done or whatever for your exit ticket, and then I will put in those points for you.